Everybody's like, I loved some of the bad puns during the downtime. We talked about it yesterday, of course. He's not here because he was partying. But, yeah, silliness aside, guys, we're ready to rock and roll. We're getting into this brand new best of 5. It's the semifinals for 32Boys1Cup. There's a lot of money on the line for this tournament. We'll go over the prize pool in a second, but spawning here in the top left corner of the map, it's the blue Zerg player, Losira.
In the bottom right, as the red Protoss, it's the Flash Wolves, PartinG.
I says sorry to his fans. Man, I love PartinG. This is why I really didn't want to disqualify him, because I know he means well and all these things. I really don't know what happened. I did ask him, but he didn't respond. I think he just wanted to get into the games, and I can't blame him. So, chances are, like I said, it's kind of late over in Korea. Maybe he took a nap to prepare for the series, prepare for the finals. I don't know. It's coming up around midnight-ish over there, so can't blame him if that was the case. Maybe he overslept. I'm making excuses. I have no idea. Maybe he was just in the bathroom this whole time. Hell if I know. But anyways, PartinG is such a fantastic player. He just, of course, rocked out at Home Story Cup. Zombie, but I had the pleasure, and I want to emphasize pleasure, of meeting him at BlizzCon too. He's a pretty cool dude. And yeah, I don't know. As much as I've got all this love for PartinG, Losira has shown us some pretty solid series in general when it came to his group stage, especially when it came to the round 16, where he excelled at ZVZ more than anything else. But now it's ZVP. Times have changed. We'll see how his matchup is here.
Oh, the times have changed.
I like that he hides the drone here, actually. One of the best responses we ever see to cannon rushes, other than straight up defending it, is, of course, proxy hatcheries. So possibly leaving this alive. PartinG does scout this.
I think he wants to see if the Nexus goes down immediately. Well, I wouldn't have gone down even yet, so I don't know. He is blocking out the Nexus maybe for a little while longer, but not even, as he throws on a pylon. Oh, he does proxy hatchery. There we go.
Alright, so this proxy hatchery can turn into a lot of really frustrating things. I kind of like that PartinG puts the cannon down a little bit further back. It's not nestled up against the wall as tight as you'd normally like it to be, but it does put it in range of the hatchery. Even though it's at a second cannon. I like this a lot, because if you do this, you don't have to pull probes. And the cost of this cannon, the 150 minerals you invest in this, actually is way more efficient than pulling probes for like the minute and a half it takes to clean it up. You actually lose more minerals through not mining than you do from putting the cannon down.
Well, what sucks is that Losira has a chance to cancel the hatchery and lose the drone. You know, it actually does time up well. That's, you know, the hatchery is not going to get low enough that he can cancel a second cannon before he can cancel the hatchery. No, it's going to get as low as possible. He's going to cancel it. He's going to, you know, delay the Nexus for a very long time, and he forced out an extra 150 minerals that PartinG really didn't want to use.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, it does at least keep this from going down. This is one of those. There you go, nice snipe. One of those scenarios where, I mean, the hatchery itself can be quite deadly if ignored, but despite the awkward opening here, both players just kind of moving towards that mid-game to be somewhat normal. Nexus comes down a little bit delayed, so does this third, but they both do go down. As far as what this matchup can bring, though, we're seeing all too often Protoss players +2 Blink Stalkers. I mean, it's the go-to, it's the standard. PartinG has shown us, especially at Home Story Cup, he's pretty well versed when it comes to Stalkers and Blink and whatnot. Again, that was versus Terran and versus Flash, but it doesn't change a whole lot when you come up versus Zerg.
Losira does double expand behind this. No gas. Lings in the field, though, of course, clear up those pylons that PartinG placed down, but now they can be used to, well, scout. PartinG, you know, the Nexus is the only thing that was really delayed here. I mean, Warp Gate maybe just a little bit later. I'm not sure on the timings for that, but obviously not in the case of, I know we've seen a couple of games where like a proxy hatch really did ruin a Protoss's day, or, you know, just 6 Lings ruined the Warp Gate timing, so Warp Gate was starting at like 9 minutes, like completely insane. Not really the case here.
Yeah, you had actually missed that. I think it was the Elite League you had to take off early for. Yangwall versus True was this like best of 7 finals, and in that PvZ, it was every single game was a hatchery block. Like every single instance, it was hatchery block and a hatchery block and a cannons and a hatchery block. And as silly as it is, I would kind of love if that did become the standard of this matchup. But of course, it doesn't work so well if there's a gateway expand compared to Forge expand.
Got 2 gateways going down in a position that's really quite hard to scout. I really like it. Of course, you know, a Stalker patrolling eventually kills an Overlord, but the chances of an Overlord going this direction to scout is pretty low. You always want to check, like, behind the mineral line is where they would put anything really revealing and that deal. I mean, it is only 3 gateways, so it's not like, oh no, he doesn't see, like, 7 gateways on the way. But, you know, 3 gates can still kill a lot of drones. You can even kill a hatchery if you're really totally unprepared.
Yeah, I don't think Parting would be that, I don't know, that unprepared. I mean, he's got a lot of Overlord spread. He's got Zergling scouting too. I mean, they're being all chased off by a couple of Stalkers, and maybe this is where the paranoia starts rising. You're like, okay, why is he trying to deny scouting information so hard? But 2 Overlords dead, Zergling as well. Oops.
Losira has not started a Roach War and he doesn't have speed, so I think it actually is rather, it's scary, you know. 3 Zealots are something going to be very effective against these slow Lings. I think Losira did see the pylon warping in or something, so he knows that he has to get as many Lings as possible out now. I was kind of oohing not at the 3 gate, but more so at the lair being at the 3rd. This could be a mistake.
I didn't realize it was here at the 3rd. Yeah, it's interesting placement for it, but lots of Lings being forced out now. Hydra's Den is on the way. This isn't that big of a dedication, though, and I wonder if Lucira's perhaps thinking there's way more than there is. At this point, you still see 4 Stalkers in over reinforcements, so you've got to know this wasn't that big of a gateway island, but still pulling the drones. Well, this is a couple, so it's not that dangerous yet.
Yeah, I was more worried about the Militia Corps might go down. Pulls it back, and it's just like the time. Hopefully with the no creep spread, he'll be okay. Speed is about to finish. He will have to recall. And this, you're right, he wasn't a big dedication. He didn't even bother warping in any more Zealots. It was a 3rd back home.
Well, now he does.
Okay, well. Whatever, but the 3rd went down beforehand, so. Still good.
Well, I think he's going to dart around here looking for a way to get on top of these Stalkers. Of course, the last thing they want to do is run into those Zealots against the wall. Zergling's going to fight Zealots pretty effectively if they can get us around. That's the big if most of the time. He does segment about half of his Lings, though, to go down here towards the 3rd, and while he won't get the cannon, he should be able to get a nice surround here on the Nexus.
Ooh, not sure about that Sentry Warp-In. I actually like the Sentries in general is obviously a good Warp-In, but the 3rd one was going to be the last one out, man. He was going to die.
Yeah. Well, Ling's heading back home. There's not a lot to thwart off at this point. There's still that small, like, this is such a small force when you consider, like, what tends to come out of this, you know, gateway, relentless warpins, etc. But Parting is not invested a whole lot into it. Almost loses the Mothership Core. That was so close. Thank God for shields. 8 health remains of the Mothership Core, though, so I don't think he'll be able to pull that trick off twice. Man, that was a little bit scary for Losira for a moment. I almost worried that he was going to over-dedicate and you find yourself without drones because you've made way too many Zerglings unnecessarily, but now it's Parting who's down in supply. I mean, the army supplies are fairly similar, and of course he's got that 1-1 upgrade, which is really nice, but you know, Lucira's got really nice income at the moment with such a huge drone lead, such a huge worker lead, 74 over 48. Infestation Pit is coming out, and I would love to see this be for Infestors, not Blinding Cloud, but Blinding Cloud is everybody's best friend, it feels. Vipers in general, that is.
So, I mean, here's what's interesting. I don't think Parting ever got a Twilight Council. You know, despite having that +1 weapons, he just went straight into +1 armor, but no upgrades. He does have a lot of gateways. 8 gateways on 3 bases. You know, no gas taken out the 3rd base, so this is a little bit dedicated. I'm really surprised you don't see any tech on the way behind this.
Yeah. I mean, at least blink or something, right? Mothership Core goes off pretty much immediately, kind of as expected at 8 health after all. That's a hell of a lot of Hydralists in, but that's still a lot of sentries, a lot of force fields, and a lot of energy to work with. Guardian Shield's helping out here a little bit, but of course it's mostly the force fields that are going to be what wins this fight. Parting does kind of choke a lot of these Hydras into a really bad corner. So Losira goes around the long way, tries to take an engagement down here, but no matter how this goes, like, this is still for Parting a lot less dedicated than it is for Losira. Like, Lucira's life is on the line, whereas Parting's just got this really heavy attack. If he trades out army for army, like maybe he decides to go back home and play off this, loses the War Prism, still has some pylons to reinforce with, but without Blake, it's so hard to retain numbers versus the Hydras. But he killed 20 drones for this, so you gotta ask, like, was that worth it?
No.
No, not at all. GG.
It was an odd